Thank you, Madam Speaker. I thank the gentleman. Thank you, Congressman Graves, for arranging this special tribute to a devoted patriot, a serious legislator, an endearing colleague and friend, the Dean of the House, Congressman Don Young. Thank you, Mr. Graves, for your leadership in putting this together. I'm pleased to join our distinguished Democratic leader, Mr. Hoyer, who's still here on the floor now for this. This morning, Congress had the sad and official honor of welcoming Congressman Young back to the Capitol, to Lyons State in Statuary Hall. As Speaker, it was my solemn privilege to join in paying tribute to this legendary leader as his historic public service brought luster to the Congress and to the country. It was always clear that Don was passionate about his position and his patriotism and about working in this institution to make a difference. As an Army veteran, he was a force for ensuring our service members, veterans, and military families got the care they earned. As a former teacher, he was a passionate advocate for quality education for all of our nation's children. And as a champion for Alaska, as Congressman Graves pointed out, and Mr. Hoyer as well, he was relentless in delivering investments to his beloved home state, especially lifting up Native communities. His wife, Lou, in honor of his wife, Lou. When Don became dean in December 2017, he said right here on the House floor, "I love this body. I believe in this body. My heart is in the House." He loved the House, and the House loved him. Indeed, Don Young was an institution in the House of Representatives. 49 years, as was said this morning, 49 years for the 49th state, the last frontier, which he loved, Alaska. While a committed conservative, he was more than willing to work across the aisle across party lines, if it meant delivering for his beloved home state of Alaska. And as dean, he cherished the duty to bring members together and to defend the dignity and integrity of this institution. I myself was personally honored to be sworn in as Speaker 2 times by the distinguished Dean, Don Young, in 19 and 21, 2019 and 2021. As Dean, he cherished his duty to bring members together, as I said. Despite political differences, many of us on the other side of the aisle enjoyed close personal friendships with him, built on our shared reverence and respect for this institution. His salmon dinners were legendary. His personality was similarly legendary. While we were devastated by the loss of our dear friend and colleague, each of us has a duty to honor his unending love for the House and the towering legacy he leaves behind. Again, I want to just call to attention the fact that George Miller, who served with him, wrote it's online in The Hill, an article. He wrote it with John Lawrence as opinion contributors. But George Miller and Don Young were back and forth chair and ranking member on the Interior Committee, the Natural Resources Committee. And you have to read it because it's any one sentence taken out of context you might not appreciate. But let me just say what he said at the end. Saying you'll miss Don Young doesn't mean he was right all the time or that he was invariably wrong. It means the House is diminished by his loss. He was a great congressman and a great friend. Alaska was fortunate to have him. May it be a comfort to his beloved wife, Anne, his dear children, Dawn and Joni, and his 20-some darling grandchildren, that so many in the Congress and the country mourn their loss. Madam Speaker, frequently we will say at a service, I mourn with you. We are all mourning in the House with Anne, Dawn, and Joni because we have all lost a dear, dear friend, and we are praying for them at this sad time. May Congressman Young, he was a blessing to our country. May Congressman Don Young forever rest in peace. When I asked George Miller this morning, what word would you use to describe Don Young? He said, He was amazing. He shouted over the phone, he was amazing. And how appropriate that the family had suggested Amazing Grace as the song to be sung at his service earlier today as he lay in state in the statuary hall. Yes, Don Young, Amazing Grace. I yield back.